What kind of mindset would it take for someone to commit these crimes that happened at the University of Idaho? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Lucky from Unfiltered Lucky. And today I wanted to talk about the mindset that it would take for someone to commit these types of crimes. Kind of the mental aspect, the physical aspect, and very importantly, the emotional aspect. And the range of emotions that this suspect would have been going through during the course of these crimes, in my opinion. I'm not trying to diagnose this suspect. I don't know anything about this suspect's mental disorders or anything like that. I'm not trying to diagnose this suspect. What I'm going to do is I want to walk through this crime scene again. So I want to walk through this crime as if I am Brian Kohberger, the suspect in the Idaho 4 crimes. And I want to talk about some of the mental challenges and the emotions and mental state of mind that this suspect may have been going through during the course of these crimes. Now, not just anybody can commit these types of crimes. This isn't just your petty criminal committing this type of crime. Not just anybody can do that, could commit this type of crime. Not just anybody could take 4 innocent lives with a sharp-edged blade. You know, the average person, you or me, it's possible, very probable that in a self-defense situation or something like that, we could probably take someone's life with a sharp-edged object. But this suspect took 4 people's lives. 4 people's lives. And did it in such a brutal manner. Every single victim had multiple wounds. So this wasn't somebody just trying to get in the house, take someone's life, and then get out as efficiently as possible. This was somebody who stayed a while. This is somebody who brutalized these victims. This is somebody who was sending a message. So we'll start at the back door because they believe that the suspect started at the back door. Now, as I get to the back door, anxiety is high. You know, he would have to pump himself up for this to get to get into this house. But anxiety is high. But from the time he gets from his car to the back door, he has an out. So that would give him some relief because he could just walk away at any time and no harm is done. So all the way from his car to the back door, he's keeping in mind that he can walk away from this at any time. He's anxious, probably very nervous. He's walking into a house with 6 people in this house. So he's walking into a really bad situation as it is. This is a horrible plan from the beginning, from before he even enters the house. Because he's walking into a house where it's going to be 1 against 6. He's walking into this house alone. So He's definitely against the odds. He's definitely doing this the hard way. So he gets inside the sliding glass door. Now he's inside the house. Now everything is going to get real heavy around him, because now it's just gotten real. Now he's in this house. Now he's in the crime scene. So now this has just gotten very real. He's, at this point, I believe, extremely anxious, very nervous, probably having a lot of questions about what he's doing and why he's doing this. There's a motive to this. The suspect in this crime was driven by something. This was, I believe, a reaction to an action. So now he's inside the house, and now it's gotten very, very real. Because now anybody who lives in this house could pop around a corner at any time or discover him as soon as he steps into the kitchen. There's a lot of things that can happen at this point, and he knows that. He's considering all of this. Because even though previous tenants had stated that people had wandered into this house on accident at times, and it was a party house. Sometimes people walked in looking for a party. But this suspect doesn't look like he's looking for a party. I mean, he's standing there with a big knife. He is wearing a mask, and he's clad in black. So he looks like he's here to do dirt, is what he looks like he's here to do. He looks like he's here to commit a crime. He doesn't look like he accidentally wandered into this house. So anybody that's going to come upon him at this time is going to discover him and realize that there's somebody in this house that is potentially in this house to do harm. So he's thinking about all this. So now at this point, he's committed. He's committed to committing these crimes. So I'm going to assume that he knows where he's going if Maddie was the target, because according to investigators, he heads straight upstairs. Now, in order to head straight upstairs, he has to walk across the kitchen, walk to the right, and then walk right past Dylan's bedroom door. So he probably has a basic idea of how this house is laid out if he's been watching it from the outside. It is kind of a different layout because you have the kitchen on the middle floor. But from the outside, you can pretty much tell what you're looking at. You're looking at basically 3 boxes stacked on top of one another. Now, basically, when he walks in this house, he heads straight for the stairs, and he begins walking upstairs. Now, at this time, I would believe that he's becoming very anxious and very nervous, because at this time, his plan is now coming to fruition. He is acting out his plan, and he is coming to the part of his plan that's the most complicated, and that's definitely going to be the most emotional, definitely gonna put him in a different state of mind. So he gets to the top of the stairs, and his anxiety is up here. His heart's pounding. He's anxious. He's nervous. He's nervous because he's by himself. I mean, he's nervous because he's about to commit some really heinous crimes, but one thing that would make him very nervous is that he's in this house by himself. He doesn't have anybody to watch his back or to fall back on if he becomes injured during the course of these crimes, which is why I believe that these crimes were committed by multiple suspects. Going in by yourself this is a bad idea. This would be a very bad idea. This is a bad plan. So he walks into Maddie's bedroom and quickly realizes that it's not just Maddie laying in this bed. That now Kaylee is also laying in this bed. So now there's two people laying in this bed. So at this point, I believe that his anxiety is going through the roof because now his plan is unraveling. This isn't part of his plan. So now his plan's unraveling because now there's two people. Now he's going to have to take two people's lives. So now he has to be thinking, how am I going to take the life of the first person and still be able to contain the second person? Because you're nervous that they're going to run or that they're going to both attack you. So now your plan is unraveling and now you're having to worry about becoming sloppy because now you're working on the fly. Now your plan is no longer intact. So now you're working on the fly. So he takes the life of Maddie, and then it's reported, it's a possibility that he had to fight with Kaylee. Because if he took Maddie's life first, Kaylee realizes what's going on. So now she's fighting for her life. Now this puts him in a very bad position because now he's been discovered by the second person there. He's having to get into an altercation with this person. He's having to fight this person, which makes him vulnerable. Because now he doesn't know, now he's wide open. He's completely vulnerable. So he doesn't know if one of the downstairs roommates has discovered him, has come upstairs, and is maybe going to see Kaylee fighting with him and decide to also join in and try to attack him and maybe try to take him down 2-on-1. Or at the very least, they could be calling 911. At the very least, they could be downstairs calling 911 because he chose to begin at the top level. Very strange. Very strange to start at the top level and not know what anybody on the lower levels is doing. They could be calling 911. They could be running out of the house. They could be driving away for all this guy knows at this time. So you would be very nervous about your surroundings because you don't have anybody to watch your back. You don't have anybody there to help you. Not only that, you don't have anybody there to motivate you, to motivate you to keep going. So he takes the lives of Maddie and Kaylee. And at this point, I believe that he's having an adrenaline dump that would be ridiculous. His nerves are fried. His anxiety is up here. He's nervous. His plan has unraveled. And he just took the lives of two people. He's having an adrenaline dump like people would not believe right now, which is going to affect his mindset, and it's also going to affect his motor skills. He's not going to be as crisp as he was when he went in because now he has a mountain of emotions coming down on him right now, and he still has to go downstairs. So I imagine when he was going down those stairs, he was extremely nervous. His knees were probably knocking coming down these stairs because he's having this adrenaline dump right now. Adrenaline is just surging through his body right now. Some people, they like that feeling. And that's why we have thrill crimes and crimes of that nature. But I'm going to assume that this is probably his first time taking the lives of 4 people. And I believe that his thought process is going berserk at this point. Because not only is all this happening, but now he realizes that he's had to get away from his plan which could potentially cause him to get sloppy. So now he's thinking about this as well. Now he heads down these stairs, and I imagine he's very nervous because now they've made a lot of noise. It's possible now that these people are alerted on these lower levels, if they're still even there, if they haven't abandoned the house at this point. Now he walks by Dylan's bedroom door, passes right by Dylan's bedroom door again. So now he's heading across the living room. It seems like he would go into Dylan's room because she would be the closest witness to what just occurred upstairs, but he doesn't do that. He walks across the living room, and now he's in a whole different situation than he was in upstairs. Because now he has two people who are likely very aware of what was happening upstairs, and they're alert. Now, he snuck up on the two upstairs. He's not sneaking up on these two. So now this is a whole different situation. Now he's in a different scenario. Because now he's got to face two people who are aware of what's happening. One of those people is 6'4" tall, a young man who's athletic. That's not going to be easy. You're worried about that. He's worried about this because this is a big man. And now they're awake. They're alert of what's happening, of what's happened upstairs. They might not know exactly what's happened upstairs, but they know that something is very wrong. Now, as he's approaching Xana's bedroom, where Ethan and Xana are at, not only is he having to keep in mind that he's going to have to get into an altercation with this young man who's 6'4" tall and athletic. He could probably take care of himself. But now he's also going to have to deal with Xana, who's described as a fighter. And we know that she was a fighter by her defensive wounds. So now he's got to face Ethan, a good-sized man who could probably overpower him, and Xana, who's going to fight him and does fight him. So now his anxiety right now, everything in his body, every emotion in his body is pumping at full force right now, because now he's in a situation where he could become a victim. Now he's in a situation where he's in a very bad position right now. So he's approaching this situation, and now he's going to take the lives of Ethan and Xana. Now he's very vulnerable because now his back is to the rest of the house. He doesn't know if these other two roommates are going to also try to attack him, if they're going to try to take him 4-on-1. He doesn't know this, and he's got to keep this in his mind the whole time because he's alone. He's by himself. He has nobody to watch his back. He has nobody to help contain this crime scene. He's on his own. This is a really bad situation for him to be in. This is a situation where he could get very badly hurt himself and get caught or become a victim himself. So he's very worried about this, I would think. Now, so he overpowers Ethan and Xana and takes the lives of Ethan and Xana. So this guy now has taken the lives of 4 people. And the magnitude of that, it's ridiculous. To go into a house expecting to take the life of one person and then end up having to take the lives of 4 people? This suspect is an emotional and mental wreck at this point, and probably physically being affected as well. His motor skills are being affected as well by the state of mind that he's in at this point. To go from 1 victim to 4 victims is a huge jump. When you're listening to it in the media and they're saying, that they believe that Brian Koberger went into this house expecting to take the life of 1 victim, but then he ended up having to take the lives of 4 victims because they were victims of circumstance. That's not a small detail. That's huge. It's huge to go from taking the life of 1 person to taking the lives of 4 people. As I said earlier, a lot of us could probably take the life of 1 person if we had to, if we were in that situation. But to do it in an extremely brutal way and have to do it to 4 victims, that's insane. The jump from 1 victim to 4 victims, you have to look at that realistically and realize the toll that would take on 1 suspect committing these crimes by himself. This man's head would be a mess at this point. So now he's taken their lives and now he's leaving the house. He's not running. He's not really described as being urgent, as there being any urgency. Because he's walking. Now, as he's walking out of this house, again, he walks by Dylan's bedroom door for a 3rd time, and this time it's open because she's standing in the doorway. Now, he doesn't know where Bethany is. Bethany could have already run out the front door. He has no idea where Bethany is. Bethany could have driven away from this crime scene minutes ago. He doesn't know where Bethany's at because he hasn't even been to the 1st floor yet, or at all, for that matter. So he doesn't know if Bethany's called 911. He doesn't know. He's got to keep on it's got to be on his mind this entire time of when is law enforcement coming? When are they coming? Because he doesn't know what the people on the bottom floors are doing. So not only is he having this crazy adrenaline dump going throughout his body, but he's also nervous about when law enforcement's coming. He's also nervous about his situation and his environment, his surroundings, because he doesn't know where the other roommates are at. He hasn't contained this house. He started at the top level. He started at the top level, so he doesn't know what's happening on the bottom levels. So he definitely doesn't know what's happening on the 1st level where Bethany's at. He doesn't know where Bethany's at. So he walks out of the house. He leaves a witness. And he walks out of the house and then walks to his car, reportedly, and drives away from the crime scene. It would surprise me if this suspect could operate a motor vehicle at this point. This suspect would have to be a nervous wreck at this point. At this point, this suspect has just taken 4 lives in a very personal, up-close manner with a sharp-edged blade. This is a personal crime. This isn't, he didn't just wander into this house for no reason. Not in my opinion. This is a very personal crime. I believe that this suspect would have been emotionally exhausted, mentally exhausted, probably physically exhausted at this point, concerned about all the mistakes that he may have made in this house because his plan was unraveled once he reached Maddie's bedroom. This plan was unraveled from the beginning, but that would create frustration, and it would create him to cause it would cause him to make mistakes. So this is the mental state of mind that I believe that this suspect committing these crimes would be in. I would believe that anyone who committed these crimes most likely had a history of violence and probably a history of committing crimes such as this. Maybe not to this magnitude, but crimes such as this. This is somebody that is comfortable around chaos. This is somebody who's comfortable in this environment. And I do believe that there was chaos. I don't believe that all these roommates were sleeping in this house. I believe there was sheer chaos going on in this house while these crimes were occurring. And I believe that the person who committed these crimes is somebody who's comfortable in that environment, comfortable in the middle of the chaos. It would have been somebody who would have contained this crime scene because they know better. This would have been, if Bryan Kohberger is the suspect, the sole suspect of these crimes, and he did commit these crimes, this would have been a very mentally and physically and emotionally challenging crime for him to commit by himself. Would it be possible? I mean, I believe that it would be possible. Sure, I think it would be possible. But the state of mind, the mindset that this suspect would have had to be in after this whole ordeal and during this whole ordeal, I don't think very many people would have been able to handle that. I don't think very many people wouldn't have cracked in that situation. Because as I said, and I've said this from the beginning, not just anybody can commit this crime. This takes a certain type of person to commit this crime. Now, is Bryan Kohberger that type of person? I don't think so, but we're going to find out. Stay tuned for my next video, and please like and share and comment. Like I said, I always appreciate the comments. I love getting down in the comment section and talking to everybody and sharing ideas and listening to your ideas. I've read ideas in the comment section that have really made me think, and in a few instances even changed my mind about a few things. So I really enjoy it. I really enjoy getting down there and seeing what you all think and your ideas. Now, I'm currently in the process of working on my studio. I'm upgrading my audio. I'm upgrading my video. I'm upgrading this whole environment so that I can provide the best quality experience that I can for you while you're watching my videos. So it's important to me, and stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.